Welcome into DC On Screen, number 264. It is your weekly DCEU news episode. I am your host, David C. Robertson. This, the man who stole a microphone from a turkey, Jason Goss.
I was desperate.
Have you heard about that? Have you heard about that story that's been going on today?
Mm-mm.
Apparently it's awful, kind of. I don't know. It was like this teacher, they was doing some kind of little Thanksgiving pageant thing, this little play. And this teacher ran up and grabbed a microphone away from this autistic kid in a turkey outfit. And he started crying, and everyone on the internet is hating her. But then other people are saying, well, he was disrupting the show the entire time and was trying to steal the microphone from other people. And then, the show was over. He was just going to run up and say, gobble, gobble. And she was like, she didn't know what he was going to say. So she was just like, okay, I'm done with that. Let's grab that mic. I don't know. I grew up in an age when, adults grabbed microphones away from kids like me all the time. So,
yeah,
with plays and stuff,
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel bad for the kid, but then kind of don't. I don't know how to feel. I'm conflicted.
That seems like a pretty conflicted situation in general. I mean, kids just trying to have a good time. I understand why the parents are pissed.
Yeah.
But then, the teacher was just trying to kind of shut that down. This is going to be one of those situations where the internet's going to rabble for a while.
Oh, yeah. People are calling for her job and stuff.
Oh, you better believe it.
I just don't think it's that deep. But, what do I know? I don't even know these people. I saw, a 15-second clip that the internet showed me and told me to make up my mind about a thing. Yeah. I didn't see the whole play or how the kid was acting or how the teacher is. So, there you go. Anyway.
I just thought it was a... I didn't know why the turkey reference was there, but I thought it was a reference to all of my electronics dying on me.
Oh, no, that actually is.
I thought he had just
really
Thanksgiving themed a reference to me having been so desperate by my recent problems that I stole a microphone from a fucking turkey.
That's. I really like that take. I was looking for something a little current, be relatable. Mm-hmm. People know about the turkey thing. I don't know.
I didn't know about the turkey. I've seen the headline, and that's it. Anyway.
I like your take on it.
Mine's much more magical than
and plus,
serious issues about how to deal with mental health in schools.
Yeah,
mine's a lot more fun.
Honestly, I really just like the imagery of you stealing a microphone from a turkey.
Damn well I would get in costume and sneak up on the turkey and,
Why would you be in costume?
Well, you got to be in stealth mode.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That
makes sense.
So I'd have to invent a costume and then invent a stealth version of that costume.
Yeah.
Or somewhere a Mattel executive will die a little inside.
Right. I don't know why it would be a Mattel executive.
For the toys, man. For the stealing turkey toys.
Stealing turkey toys. If we ever make a band together.
I can dig that.
Turkey toys, I think. Our
first single will be out in about 2026.
Right? It'll be called Gobble Goss. Oh, man. So we got a lot of news to get to, so we're going to go ahead and just jump into that.
We should do things.
So jumping into Batman v Superman right off, Gal Gadot released a behind-the-scenes Batman v Superman picture of Wonder Woman fighting a guy in a mocap outfit. It's probably Doomsday. I'm assuming it's Doomsday. Oh gosh, that's weird. One big headline that's been going around, and it's nothing but clickbait. I mean, it's true, but it's clickbait. Michael Shannon... they were asking him what he felt about Batman v Superman. He says, people ask me about this all the time. Okay, I'll tell you the God's honest truth. Zack is going to kill me for this. He's got to kill me. I watched it once, and I fell asleep. He says, I was on an international flight, and I was tired. I shouldn't have been watching it on a plane. But I never go to the movies anymore. I don't have time to see anything. I used to go to the movies all the time when I was 20 years old and wasn't working 10 days a week.
When that man gives you the God's honest truth.
Right. And everyone's, trying to make it like, oh, man, what is it? Your star goes to sleep while watching.
Wait.
Star.
His role in this film was corpse. Sorry. He probably wasn't super excited about staying up long enough to watch his hairy chest roll into a lake of whatever the hell that goo was.
He wasn't even he didn't even step foot on set. He actually talked about that in a different interview.
They did just make a okay, good. Like I'm happy for him that he didn't have to show up just to flash Eisenberg.
The guy that played his body died last year. We talked about that.
We did. That's right.
And he says, I never set foot on the set of Batman vs. Superman. In the movie, there's a large rubber version of my naked body that Lex Luthor is playing with. I was not. The only thing I did for that is I did some ADR for some lines that Zach thought he might use in the movie of my disembodied spirit talking to Lex Luthor.
I'm kind of super glad that got cut.
Yeah, me too. He also went ahead and reiterated that the whole flipper hands thing where he was just screwing with the press.
Yeah, I know.
But actually, the disembodied ghost thing, that was going to be like somewhat like Jor-El's consciousness in Man of Steel, like his little hologram.
Oh, now that I could deal with. That has an actual root. Yeah, that's good. Well,
so anyway,
it'll work.
Batman v Superman and Suicide Squad have been nominated for People's Choice Awards. The favorite movie actor nominees are going to be Ryan Reynolds, Robert Downey Jr., and Will Smith. Smith is also up for a favorite action movie favorite action movie actor award. Affleck was nominated for a favorite dramatic movie actor. Margot Robbie, favorite action movie actress against Jennifer Lawrence, Scarlett Johansson, Shailene Woodley, and Zoe Saldana.
That's a tough race.
And while Batman v Superman apparently is not involved in the favorite movie category, Suicide Squad is.
Okay. That makes sense, though.
Actually, I think BVS and Suicide Squad are nominated for the favorite action movie category with all the other Marvel movies except for Doctor Strange. So
no, that is that part's strange. Maybe just got a little late. I don't know what the timing is.
It's just too late. It was too late to be nominated.
And you got to bet there's like a recency effect where Doctor Strange came out just after the deadline, maybe. So now when the next year comes around, we'll have forgotten. We'll be like, no, Wonder Woman's amazing, and forget Doctor Strange was kind of freaking amazing. Poor thing.
So a Reddit user has captured a still from Suicide Squad. It was of the Gotham skyline, and they found a little Easter egg that no one's mentioned yet.
Awesome.
I'll give credit. I don't want to say the name, but Roy the Jew Boy found a capture of Falcone on like a building in the Gotham skyline.
Nice.
The name Falcone on a building, so I'm assuming that's for the Falcone crime family, which is nice.
That is
nice
good.
Little bit.
That is. It would be. It would be like that movie though to give a shout out to one of the criminals in Gotham.
Absolutely. If you bought the Suicide Squad on VUDU, the iOS app has a bunch of special features. There are like 20 character portraits by Clay Enos, which are amazing looking. They're really cool. Obviously, because it's Clay Enos. They also did a cool thing where we got to see a bunch of alternate costumes and close-ups on the Joker and Harley Tats. Like the Joker tats, they showed the fuming jester skull hat thing, and it's like a skull with a jester hat.
Yeah.
The damaged on his forehead, the J teardrop on the left cheek.
Yeah.
The Lone Star on his right temple. The smile tattoo on the back of his hand. The ha 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 tats all over the left side of his chest.
Right.
There's a the tat featuring 4 of a kind with the ace of spades on top and an all-in caption, and the suit's symbol has a skull inside of it. The ink on his right bicep is a knife puncturing Batman's bat symbol. There are ha 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 tattoos on his left forearm, and there's an arrow through the heart of a robin on his other arm.
Yeah.
Harley's are less Easter eggish. There's a lucky U on her pelvis with a rainbow dolphin. There's Daddy's Little Monster on her chest. Property of Joker on her left shoulder blade. Eyes that say I'm watching you on her lumbar. There's a J on her arm. Rotten on her right cheek and a heart. Black and red diamond pattern on her right arm. On her right leg, let me tell you a secret, with secret spelled S-E-K-R-E-T. There's a heart, there are diamonds. One says I heart puddin', Harley and puddin', and then left leg jester skull, a tally marks, a heart with P plus H and an arrow through it, and one that says "I'll wait forever." And those on her legs are all the wrong way because they're facing her, and that's how she did it herself.
I assume "I'll wait forever" is the one she got to get. It's like her mantra when he goes to prison for stretches.
Mm-hmm. So Mark Hamill was doing an interview about his new show, which we'll talk about in the DCTV segment or episode. But he was asked about Jared Leto's Joker. He said that he loved Leto's performance. He says there isn't an interpretation that he's seen yet that made him go, "That was terrible."
That
he says
sounds
the key
fair.
to enjoying different. Yeah, he says the key to enjoying different iterations of the character was to look for what that version needed to be in the moment. He says Nicholson's Joker was a lot different than Ledger's because it had to be. He says everyone brings a different spin to the character, and you have to look at each script separately. I don't think there's a definitive version of the Joker, and I don't think there can be. It's like Hamlet, really. It'll be constantly redefined.
Yeah, well put.
So this is fun. I believe it was the first appearance of Captain Boomerang. Has a panel in the climax of the story. Captain Boomerang has Flash strapped to a giant rocket boomerang.
Oh wow!
And he's gotta send him into outer space.
Why does he have access to something that can do that?
The panel, they actually explained it in the comic, but
okay,
and it was still dumb, but it was explained.
Okay,
but the panel says, on a rooftop, 1 hour later, Captain Boomerang's full and diabolic plan becomes all too terribly clear. And Boomerang says, "Yes, there never was any other Captain Boomerang but me. I can tell you that, Flash, because you're going on your last ride on a rocket boomerang I built specially for you. It will hurtle you at fantastic speed up into space." Now, that's cheesy gold, man. That's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
But a Reddit user...
Way to go, Reddit.
Gregor F92.
Not to be outdone, Reddit steps in.
Right. Caught a reference in Amanda Waller's case file on Captain Boomerang. It confirms that the rocket boomerang exists.
Holy shit.
And that he already used it on the Flash. There's a line and he underlined it and you can barely see it near the bottom of the screen. But it says, "and tied the unconscious Flash to his rocket boomerang."
Jesus. That's fantastic. Do you want to guess how bad Jai Courtney wants to do that scene? I'm gonna go with really bad.
I'm down. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Let's go full on Silver Age. Let's go from 1980s grim and gritty Frank Miller DC to Silver Age. I'm down. I've been down. I don't even care anymore. Like, I've been wanting Marvel to go like full-fledged 1960s Fantastic Four shit. Let's do this.
Right.
Let's do this too. Like, I want a giant boomerang being shot into outer space with the Flash attached.
I know. I mean, you did just get that nice little 66 movie. That was pretty fantastically cheesy.
Yep. Anyway, I don't know how to actually feel about it if I saw it. It would depend on the execution, but damn, do I want some Adam Strange. Anyway,
you can have him in a lot of universes.
I know, and it'd be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Gal Gadot was talking about wearing the Wonder Woman costume for the first time. She says the very, very first time I tried the costume on was 3 days after I got cast, and they flew me to Michigan. I don't know why it's Michigan,
but
yeah. And I got into this huge hangar, huge, with tons of white walls covered with posters of me as Wonder Woman. I got into the room and I couldn't stop looking at the posters. And then, when they wanted me to try on the costume, because I was so excited that they cast me for the role, I couldn't say anything. I couldn't breathe, but I was like, that's okay, that's fine. And they talked about a little bit of the costume problems, and she says, we adjusted it, and I love the costume. I think it complements Wonder Woman very much so as being the greatest warrior out there, and now it's much more comfortable.
And now I can actually wear it long enough to film a movie.
You have to imagine that's a surreal experience to walk into a hangar,
up, right?
And there are posters of you wearing the costume and everything. That's weird.
That would mess with me. But I can't imagine. I mean, if you handed me like a Superman costume that you had made for me and you'd clearly put some thought into it, I don't know what I would really do. I mean,
well,
faint.
I once dated a girl and I went over to her house and her dad took me into her room and she had a shrine to me on the walls and there were pictures of me and prose that I'd written online and all sorts of crap, like poetry and candles and shit. I imagined it to be like that, but times 200, because there's an entire crew putting this shit together.
But see, I realistically, when you signed on to do this role, you've authorized this kind of obsession. So I would be more like flattered by their work ethic when I came into the room.
Mm-hmm.
And you know damn well what you'd be doing. You'd be sitting there looking at the Photoshop, seeing if you could figure out whether it was a good shopping.
I mean, like, this is how in shape they expect me to get. Oh my Lord!
Oh, I've made a terrible mistake.
That's a pipe
This
dream.
is why my agent hasn't let me eat in 3 days. I see. Yeah, it'd be surreal to be handed the uniform of someone that you've respected as a fictional character, and let's face it, we all internalize these fictional characters so much that we think of them as real. So someone that you've respected and they hand you the outfit and say put it on, I would be just way beside myself.
Yeah, it'd be weird
and super exciting. I mean, my heart would be fucking pounding when I was trying to put it on.
Mm-hmm.
And having some of the same
I don't know
thoughts
that I
you
could
did,
take
like,
it.
God, I hope they really didn't underestimate how overweight I am. I
And
don't
they're
want to be the
this is your
first
personal
fat Superman.
trainer. Like, do you know how fat I am? They're like, oh, yes, sweetie, and this is your personal trainer. He's like, I'll fix you right up. Oh, no.
For some reason in my head, your like personal trainer was Dwayne Johnson.
By the time he's done saying, I'll fix you right up, he's like, wait, what happened? What just happened? My mouth was full of powdered donuts. Nothing?
Thought it might be the last time.
So the Wrap is reporting that, and this isn't official, but the Wrap is reporting that a member of the Green Lantern Corps will be seen in Justice League in a key sequence.
Awesome. Now, who the hell is he?
That's I don't
Either
know.
the character or the cast. Give me something.
They're not saying, buddy. Willem Dafoe was talking to Stuart Heritage at The Guardian, which, by the way, that is a superhero name in of itself. Stuart Heritage? Oh, my Lord. And by the way, I saw a picture of the cat. Like, he could carry it, man. That sounds like a sturdy, stalwart name.
Yeah.
Like you're about to lead some troops into a war against Starro or some shit.
Right.
Like this, like just willing to pay the price, but just not knowing how much power you're going to need to take down Starro.
Right.
But by God, you'll help
But
the
you
Justice
follow that
Society.
man anywhere.
You'll help the Justice League, whoever it is, and they'll all go willingly into that dark night.
Right.
Because Stuart Heritage, by God, is leading that brigade. Anyway, so Stuart Heritage is talking to Willem Dafoe, and Heritage says, as much as you enjoy working on personal films by strong directors, you're also making Justice League, which is presumably the opposite of that. And Willem says, well, Justice League is very particular because it's an ensemble movie, and my character is being introduced here in order to be a principal role in Aquaman. These films are a different experience. They have different responsibilities, different resources, and different intentions. It's nice to go between those worlds if you can. They serve different impulses. And Heritage says you don't get to go to Iceland for a lot of Paul Schrader movies. They were talking about Paul Schrader movies earlier and Willem being in those. He says it's not so much that on these big films, there's a whole set of people who check on the progress of the project. Sometimes that works very well because you get something that's very detailed and full blown. But sometimes it's too many cooks. And Heritage says you were present at the very start of the superhero renaissance with Spider-Man. That had a strong director. And Willem says, and that was interesting because as big as that film was, Sam Raimi didn't have a formula. And I think with Justice League, I think they're trying to play around with the formula. Zack Snyder certainly has a heavy stamp on it. But Spider-Man was a very personal film to Sam. He really believed in that story. It was dear to him. It was fun to see a big studio film like that be so personal. I mean, nothing's perfect, but it's a good film.
That's fair.
Yeah. I like the bits, though, about... I didn't care for Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. But I like the bits about Justice League trying to play around with the formula.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Marvel has proven that the right formula will make you a shit ton of money and get you a huge amount of acclaim while you get there, which is, let's face it, irrelevant to anyone that signs these checks, but it sure doesn't hurt their feelings when everyone likes the film too.
Yeah. I mean, I will say that the first Raimi Spider-Man was probably the last really good superhero movie Sony did.
That's pretty fair.
Some people will yell, Spider-Man 2, you jackass! And I'll be like, nope, Fusion Sun cannot be drowned by a lake. Next.
Yeah, that was the big
Moving
deal.
on.
I know. I got nothing.
Not only that, Doc Ock Robin Banks, when that chip in his head that controlled those stupid arms would have made him a fortune.
I know.
Alone.
I know.
Anyway.
And even that, though, I enjoyed Spider-Man 2 until it got to the climax. Oh, God. Nope. I need a beer. Someone please hand me a beer.
Oh. Anyway. Ray Fisher has been talking about Cyborg. He says, I actually grew up watching a lot of these cartoons, a lot of the animated series, Batman the Animated Series, Justice League, all the stuff that would come on Cartoon Network.
So he was raised correctly.
Absolutely. My first encounter with Cyborg was through the Teen Titans cartoon. I was in the middle of high school, and I was like, this show speaks to me. Because there are all of these characters going through these very real teen issues while also saving the world. The extent of my knowledge was just about that. He says, once I was cast, though, they send you a whole library of stuff about the characters, so I ended up being able to fall in love with the comic book version, which can be very different. I feel like I know him like the back of my hand, but there's always somebody who knows a little more than me about things.
Yes. His name's Jeff Johns. And you should just AMA his ass at any point.
Yep, please.
I do love, though, that they actually send people just a giant, mini library worth of information. Like, you need to just gorge yourself on comic books for a while. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Now, he did go in to talk about how Victor will be in Justice League. He says, Cyborg's greatest trait is his resilience. The guy has gone through a lot in terms of his physical and mental state. Imagine waking up one day and most of your body is metal. I think he represents Borg life, which is the ability to take the negative situations in your life and turn them into something positive to help other people. I think he epitomizes that idea. I think we've got a lot of very, very interesting dynamics just laid throughout the entire film with all of these characters. You see so much. You see how similar they are and how different they can be at the same time. It's beautiful to watch.
I like it.
Yep. Ezra Miller is calling Gal Gadot a force of nature. He was doing a press junket for Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. And he was talking to an Israeli reporter from Gadot's home country. Mm-hmm. And he was talking about the experience working with her. And he said, it's such a pleasure. What an incredible force of nature. She is such a mother. And then they pointed out that she's pregnant. And he's like, I had an inkling that was happening toward the end of the film. If it's possible, she was glowing even more than usual. Yeah, I'm so happy for her. And then he told him, don't give me a hard time for being in love with Gal Gadot. He says, don't give me a hard time for being in love with Gal Gadot.
That's pretty good.
So, yeah.
I'll tell you what, he's a force of optimism.
He is. He's a lot of fun.
I have decided that it's just fun to hear what he says in general, because he's probably going to make it sound super exciting.
You're going to enjoy the rest of this episode, because there's a lot of Ezra Miller stuff.
Hit me up.
All right, well, first, James Wan shared a picture of what looks like a little port town with the caption, if casting is half of your directing, then location is half of your photography, #HappySnap. Now, this place looks like it's probably got to be Amnesty Bay.
Okay.
Where Aquaman was raised by his adopted father, his foster father. Mm-hmm. But looks dope, man. Looks really cool. It actually, like, all of his shots look like they're out of a horror movie. He just has that feeling to him.
So James Wan just shows up and looks at the location and goes, half my work is done.
Yeah. So there's been a fair amount of hubbub on the interwebs over Ezra Miller not signing a fan's Marvel comic.
You mentioned that one.
Did I talk about it on the show?
I think so. Yeah. It was a sidebar somewhere. But yeah, we talked about it briefly.
Okay. Anyway. Yeah, he was at an event for Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them in the UK. He was signing a bunch of stuff for people, and some guy came up to him with an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Marvel comic, probably written by Mark Guggenheim. That would have been his way around it. But he was like, the video only shows him going, like, people standing around him and laughing at the fan with the Marvel comic. And he goes, these are other fans. But he's like, you understand why I can't sign that, right? He's like, find me something else, I'll sign it. It's just so obvious that I can't sign that. I'm sorry. And you can hear the confused fan saying stuff, and it sounds like he's saying something about Justice League isn't Justice League Marvel as well. And he's like, no, it's DC. They're competing comic book houses. I'm so sorry. I really can't. I'm dead sure I can't do that. A lot of people are pissed off at him. I don't give a shit. If I was Miller, I would have been like, "Hey, man, take the board out of the bag, and I'll sign the board, and you can put it on like a proper
Put it like
flash
wherever you want to put it afterward.
Yeah. I get the feeling it might have been staged. Even I don't know.
Possible.
Rally the fanboys.
Of all things, like I've seen a couple of clips of Kavanaugh answering questions, and I thought it was staged because he talks so fast, like so manically, that I'm like, you must have scripted some shit. Nope. He's just a fast-paced guy, you know.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes when you're excited,
and he always
more
is
excited than nervous. When you're more excited than nervous, and he's old hat at this by now, talking to crowds, but. A lot of times when you're more excited than nervous, you can just spout off a lot of stuff at once and just have very eloquent answers. I do that sometimes. Not ever on the show. I wish I could muster it up when I'm on the show.
It's never actually
been
recorded. It's a dancing frog.
Right. All of those, this just the neurons won't fire. Right. It's bad on the show.
Yeah,
but, about 4 o'clock in the morning, when I'm talking to one person without any recording, I can do that too. It's so sad that I can't do it for the show. Oh well.
For me, it's like when
Ezra
someone
Miller
asks me, like, so when did like Ringo join the band? I'm like, settle down. All right, so here's what happened. Grab a cup of coffee and a comfortable chair.
Ezra Miller was talking to IGN, and he was talking about teaming up with Batman and Superman. And he says, I certainly think it will represent the next stage. What I find fascinating is that we're still very much amateur hour speedster. I'd love for the series to track an evolution of Barry Allen's early times as the Flash. Like, I love this comic Kingdom Come. Unbelievable art. And in that, the Flash is fully evolved, and you never even see him, right? It's just like a red mist, and there's no crime in Keystone City. He protects a whole chunk of the country. So that wouldn't make for the most interesting film. You know what I mean?
Nor would Green Lantern be part of that book. But, I like that he respects that he got to that point.
Yeah, he says, what do we have to learn about that guy? That guy barely exists, right? He's almost one with the Speed Force. So it's interesting to go back to the beginning. It would be hard. You'd have to get Werner Herzog to make a movie about a bolt of lightning for the Kingdom Come version. Now, he did answer a question about what the Speed Force meant to Barry Allen. He says, Martha Graham, one of my favorite inspirations, said in a quote, there is a vitality, a life force, a quickening. To me, the idea of a quickening, the idea that the whole universe, as we know it, is essentially this composition of things moving at different speeds is an interesting idea. So the Speed Force, being the force in the sense that it's a dimensional reality that is manipulating others, almost like a gravitational wave will manipulate others. That is what's most interesting. Sorry, that's what's interesting for my Barry Allen.
Yeah, and I'm gonna laugh my ass off if I'm 60 years old and I tune into whatever the hell you get news out of in those days, and they find that speed itself is an actual force and not like a derivative of other forces acting upon each other.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna laugh until I die, probably.
Yeah, he said that his version of Barry Allen will have to deal rapidly with his new connection to the Speed Force. He says, what becomes interesting is the human being suddenly coming into contact and rapidly starting to merge with this force and what that is for a human being. I'm on board.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to see Ezra do all this stuff.
At this point...
And then I want to see Grant Gustin hanging out with him.
Let him direct.
Speaking of which,
he clearly
Kevin
knows what's supposed to happen with the character. Just let him let him do it. Get him a good DP.
Kevin Smith on Fat Man and Batman recommended the Wachowskis to direct the Flash. He thinks that's who should direct. But
wouldn't be bad.
He says the movie
Sense8 was pretty good. I think that was their product.
Yeah, Matrix.
Well, Matrix. That old hat.
Speed Racer.
Oh God.
Jupiter Ascending.
Yeah, I'm just going to focus on the one that was recent and I thought was good.
Yeah. So he says, the movie Flash currently has no Shepard. Rick left. Another one that said, creative differences, gotta go, and he flashed it out of there. I say call the Wachowskis. Why not? The running would be amazing. I think they could do an excellent Flash. He also agrees with Mark Bernardin's idea that Joe Cornish of Attack the Block would do a good job, as well as Edgar Wright and Tim Miller.
Oh.
I've been saying Edgar Wright since all this broke.
Mm-hmm. Tim Miller's, free.
Yeah, Tim Miller. Well, Tim Miller is apparently doing an adaptation of the sci-fi novel Influx by Daniel Suarez. So.
Okay.
And that's still over at Fox Studios.
Gotcha. So we don't have to like send him coupons and stuff. He's still doing okay then.
Yeah, but Edgar Wright he's working on like 3 projects right now, so I don't know.
I just always assume he's super employed and has never slept.
Yeah, right. Sienna Miller is saying she wants to play Catwoman. She was talking to Eric Davis, the managing editor at Fandango.
Mm-hmm.
And she says that she wants to be Catwoman in Affleck's new Batman movie. She was just in Live by Night, and she says there's one problem. She says that she's seen she said that Catwoman isn't in the Batman movie script, so I assume she knows at least that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that she's actually read the thing. There's also been a rumor floating about for the Harley Quinn Birds of Prey movie, though, that Catwoman and Poison Ivy are going to be in it. HQ Solo Film announced on Twitter, said that Poison Ivy, Katana, and Catwoman are some of the female DC characters added to the spin-off Harley Quinn. But the Rap reporter Humberto Gonzalez said nope in response to that. So
Katana seems
Humberto.
Like such an obvious thing, though.
It is. It's so obvious, and I hope so.
She was already there, and the extended cut, we got to see a little bit more, and it was all good.
Mm-hmm.
You've already got her. Just go for it.
Mm-hmm. But he's saying nope. I don't know to what exactly, but he's saying nope.
Just nope.
Mm-hmm. And that is all I have for the DCEU news this week. But we didn't have any new reviews.
No.
So
how
guys,
close or is this batch?
I think we're 4 away. 3 or 4 away.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's 4. So if you guys want to be eligible to win a free trade paperback, DVD, or Blu-ray, valued at $15 or less, I don't understand why you wouldn't. Give us a 5-star review on iTunes or Stitcher. You got to do it on desktop on Stitcher, and I know it's a pain in the ass. I don't know why that is. That's Stitcher's issue. I don't know.
The app does not make certain things accessible.
I'll accept a Stitcher.
Sure.
Yeah, why not? And I don't actually see a way to review it on Google Play, which is weird. But yeah. Or if you do a different podcatcher, send us the link to the review, and why not? Why the hell not?
And then we'll learn about a new podcatcher.
We are places I don't know exist. That's just the truth. It's just things get picked up. I don't know. So anyway, we'll be coming right back with a DCTV episode. And you can find every episode at DCOnScreen.com. As aforementioned, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, Twitter, Facebook, all the places. You know what happened that's fun on Twitter? Patty Jenkins, the director of Wonder Woman, liked 2 tweets we were mentioned in.
Oh, isn't that nice?
That is nice.
We're going to like your movie. I can already tell.
Oh. No, man, we don't want to get that reputation. We don't want to be the Harry Knowles of podcasting. Like
I consider it to be coincidental. I
like
just really like the trailers. So pretty happy with
like our shit, and we'll like your movie.
Mention
we'll give you a favorable review.
We'll
Wink.
Say good things.
I only say I'm sorry if we hate it.
Catch us on our other
Anyway.
shows for lots of that.
Anyway, yep. Until the next episode you guys listen to, whatever that happens to be, keep some DC on your screen.
Are you struggling to lose weight and keep it off? Tired of wasting time and money on starvation diets that lead to more frustration and stress? If there was a weight loss solution that could actually work for you, would you try it? Then head to Golo.com.
I'm Steve. I lost 138 pounds in 9 months on Golo.
I'm Amber. I've lost 128 pounds with Golo.
If you're ready to take back control of your life, head to Golo.com now and see how Golo can work for you. That's Golo.com.
My sleep is way better. My inflammation has gone way down. Golo saved my life. I was way overweight. That's what sent me down the path. I wanted to make sure and live for my kid.
I have literally tried everything. I was on the verge of getting gastric bypass surgery, and I saw the Golo commercial, and it was the last thing I tried because it worked.
Join over 2 million people who found a better way to lose weight with Golo. Your healthier and happier life begins at Golo.com. That's Golo.com. Again, Golo.com.